Hi, this is LIFEpad. I am Jen, your host for this series. We're with the one and only Serinda Swan.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so you start in TV series like Breakout Kings, Hawaii 5, Supernatural, and movies like Tron, Percy Jackson. How's acting in TV series different from movies?
It's quite similar for me. I mean, it just depends on the media. I don't necessarily have one that I prefer more. I usually pick it based on the role. So if I love the role, it doesn't matter if it's a movie or if it's a TV show. It's kind of one of those things for me where when I read the script for Breakout Kings, I was like, I would love to play this character for a year, for 5 years, whatever it may be. The fun thing with television shows is that you can play that character for up to 6, 7, I mean with Smallville 10 years, whereas a movie, it may only be a month to 5 months depending on how long the
Smallville
shoot
was
is.
10 years.
It was 10 years. They did 10 seasons, which is unheard of for a television show. So to be a part of that was just phenomenal.
That was Zatanna.
Zatanna, yeah. I was a magical magician who was a DC comic character, so that was definitely a fun one to do.
Okay. Then what's the most important lesson that you've learned from the movie industry? What have you learned?
Well, we were talking a little bit earlier. I think for me, it's really important that nowadays celebrities have more of a voice than politicians sometimes, and I think it's really important to use that voice to say something positive, to bring awareness to something that's happening in the world. And through movies and television, I've learned that you really can make a difference outside of your profession. And it's really important to make sure that whether you're a dentist or whether you're a barista here at Starbucks or whether you're an actress, that you're tying your success in with a success for humanity, for mankind. And the movie industry has just shown me how I can do that, and on such a grand scale.
Gave you that power.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here in Malaysia talking to you guys. I'm a little girl from Canada, so the fact that I'm here being able to talk about my ambitions, my dreams, my goals, my nonprofit that I have, that's amazing to me. So that's really exciting.
Is being a recognized actress your lifetime goal, or is there like some sort of goal that you have yet to achieve?
For me, yeah, it was never really about being recognized, more as just as we were talking about earlier, like I get to live my dream. Like I wake up every day, and what I dreamed of doing as a small child, I'm doing it as an adult, and that is phenomenal. That is so amazing to me that I get to do this.
It's like typical the dream come true.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and it's now I'm living the dream, but I'm not about to wake up. There's still so much more of this dream to happen, and now it's doing more movies and incorporating Friends to Mankind more into what I do, and being able to give more charities a voice. And that's just all part of this dream. And so for me, I'm so unbelievably lucky to be able to do what I do and play every day at work.
Play every day, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. Apart from your acting and previously modeling career, what are the works that you do in Asia? Let's talk about that.
Well, for me, I mean, what we were just touching on with Friends to Mankind, I have a few nonprofits that I work with here. The first one being the Somaly Man Foundation. About 5 or 6 months ago, I came to Cambodia and I met with the girls from the Somaly Man Foundation and was just so overwhelmed and so in awe of these girls' strength from what they go through. The Somaly Man Foundation was started by a victim of sex trafficking named Somaly Man. She's a survivor, and so she started her own group. She started her own foundation to start. First off, she would just go into the brothels and help the women in any way that they could. And now what she does is she has rescue shelters, she has rehabilitation centers, she has programs where they educate, and it's phenomenal. And so she's my hero. Like I absolutely adore this woman, and I cannot wait to work with her hand in hand even more. The first fundraiser that I did for her was, as I said, about 5 months ago, called 18,000 for 18,000, where I said I would throw myself out of a plane at 18,000 feet to raise $18,000 in 10 days. And so I started fundraising, and in 10 days we raised actually just over $38,000. And I threw myself out of a plane, which is North America's highest skydive, so I had to actually be oxygenated.
Okay.
And after that success, I decided to join up with Project Future Global, which is a company out of Australia and now has a counterpart in New York. And we just finished a 500-kilometer cycle across Cambodia to bring awareness and raise funds for sex trafficking victims and the Somaly Man Foundation. So for me, Southeast Asia is my second home. For
Southeast
me,
Asia.
it absolutely is. I mean, in Malaysia, this is the headquarters of Friends to Mankind. We have a headquarter in Vancouver, Canada, where I'm from, and also here in Malaysia. So this is my second family's here. I love Malaysia. I love Cambodia, Thailand. It's where I want to be when I'm not in Los Angeles. So
Acting,
and when I'm not acting, when I'm not doing that, when I can lend my voice to causes here, it's in my heart. It's what I want to be able to do. So I have so much fun doing it. Although the next charity, I think I may pick something sitting down, because the 500 kilometers, I'm really happy this isn't like a running interview or a standing interview, because my legs are a little bit tired. But you know,
You're still pumping the heels.
I'm still pumping the heels, but it's worth it. When you see the women and children that you're fighting for, it's worth it.
What does it mean to be, a friend of mankind? Friends of mankind?
Yeah, Friends to Mankind. Basically, it's think of being a friend,
Okay.
but to mankind. So everything that you would do for a friend, we ask for you to share with another that's outside of your friendship circle. Like for me, the website and the program of Friends to Mankind is basically, we're building a database of nonprofits, businesses, and people that say, I'm a friend to mankind. So their actions, whether it be philanthropic, whether it be socially responsible, whether it be economically responsible, we're building a database so that wherever you are, you can be responsible. Our slogan is do what you can where you are. So what we find is, say you're going to Thailand, and you go, I'm really interested in sex trafficking and the whole anti-campaign movement. What you do is you can go on our website, click Thailand, click where you're staying, and all of the shelters around you will show up, or all of the nonprofits will show up. I'm a huge animal activist. Click and all the dog shelters or the cat shelters will show up. So you could spend a day on your vacation volunteering at an animal shelter. You could spend a day, a weekend here while you're like, I have Sunday off. Type in what you want to do and all the nonprofits will show up around there. So it's uniting the world in philanthropic endeavors.
Of all the many causes in the world, why Somaly Man Foundation?
I think as I realized the voice I was being given through Breakout Kings, I started to realize the good I could do with it and the message that I could spread. And so after the first season of Breakout Kings, I decided that I needed to kind of find my causes. I needed to find what mattered. And I remember sitting in Toronto as we were shooting Breakout Kings, and I watched a CNN profile on Somaly Man and then also on sex trafficking. And seeing it firsthand was definitely a lot different than seeing it on television, I must say. But even the message that was just portrayed through this documentary, it broke my heart. And the age of the children that are being affected is so shocking. I mean, I was just at one of the rescue shelters a week ago, and the youngest girl there was 3 years old. So this isn't just happening. We're not talking about 17 to 25-year-olds or 30. These aren't women. These are children that have no choice and that can't say yes. These aren't children that are choosing this. This is sex trafficking of small children. These are our mothers, these are our sisters, and these are our children. These are our daughters that are being sold here. And so for me, I read Somaly Man's book, which is The Road to Lost Innocence, and it changed my voice, and I knew that I needed to go see these girls and meet them. So I booked a plane ticket as soon as I finished. I flew to Cambodia, and I met some of the survivors of sex trafficking. And I was so moved by their stories, by their strength, by their endurance, and how they fight this every single day. And I said, I need to make sure that this is something that I support for the rest of my life, that I fight for these girls for the rest of my life. The Somaly Man Foundation just touched my heart, and every single girl in there I saw as my sister, I saw as my future daughters, and I saw as my mother. And I just went, this needs to stop now. There's more slaves in this world today than there has been in history, and the average girl that gets sold into sex trafficking is 13 years old. This can't happen anymore, and I would do anything for them, including throw myself out of a plane and ride across Cambodia.
You were in Cambodia. What is the most significantly memorable moment there? Do you remember?
I remember I was hearing, we were at the shelter for the young girls. They range between 3 and 16. This is the younger shelter.
3 and 16.
And there was a 6-year-old that Somaly Mom was, first off, she was welcoming us to the shelter and telling us all the stories. And she said, would anybody like to say something? And this little 6-year-old shot up her hand. And she told us her story of being trafficked. She told us a story about when she was younger, how she was raped. And how can a 6-year-old tell you about when she was younger? She's 6. So I had an emotional moment where, you can feel it. I started to cry, and I didn't want to cry in front of her, but I was so moved and so horrified, and I started looking around the room, and every single girl that I saw was a victim in one way or another of trafficking or of rape. And it broke me, and I had to turn away and I had to walk to the back of the room because I didn't want them to see me as I started to sob. And I felt this little arm on me, and I turned around and there was a girl who grabbed my face, and she started wiping away my tears, and she said, "Don't cry, sister, don't cry," and gave me a big hug. She was like, "Don't cry, it's okay." No, it's fine. And I just stopped, and this girl is being the strength for me. This girl who's been through so much, who I'm crying for, is wiping away my tears. My tears are for her, what's happened to her, and she's wiping them away. And within 30 seconds, I had 25 young girls all hugging me. All these trafficking survivors came up and they were hugging me, and they were going, "Sister, sister, don't cry." And we just held each other and we cried, and I was so sorry for what humanity had done to them, and I just said, "I'll fight for you for the rest of my life." And that's what I plan on doing. And they were just, that was my moment. And I've written a journal about it that we're going to actually publish, and it has all of sort of the memoirs in it of the experiences. But I was a mess. If you'd seen me, there's pictures, and I'm always puffy-eyed, I'm always crying. It's just, it's a hard subject, but that was the moment. Having my face held by this little girl, wiping away my tears, I just was like,
You're so strong.
that's it. Oh, they're so strong. They're so strong. They're just these little balls of light and love, and all they want is love. All they want is support. And that's all I will ever give them, is just my undivided support and unconditional love, is I just love them.
All right, so that is our session of LIFEpad with the one and only Serinda Swan.
People are unaware of what's actually happening. It's not only happening in our backyards, but it's happening all over the world. Right now, there's an epidemic all over the world of young girls that are being sold as young as 2 years old. I was lucky enough to be able to go to one of the rescue shelters when I was in Cambodia and meet these amazing souls. Like, these women and children just have a light that is so inspiring and yet so shocking. And to me, it was just such an honor to be a part of that. And the life that they have now, thanks to the Somaly Man Foundation, is so wonderful. They have a future, and it's not just, a future in the next few days. It's tangible. Somaly Mom is such an inspiration. So for me, it was like meeting the girls for Voices for Change just changed my voice. Now my voice is stop human trafficking. I've seen what it's done, so let's do something about it. And so 18,000 for 18,000 was born.